What's up guys, Vegan here, and today we're going to be going over just how powerful Godzilla is. I know there's a lot of misconceptions and some people just don't know how powerful he is, some people downplay. So for this video, we're going to be covering every single Godzilla from 1954 to 2004. And no, there won't be any video game or comic Godzillas. We're just gonna try to keep it simple and basic to go over the core Godzillas so everybody gets an idea on where he generally stands. So starting off with the OG Godzilla, Godzilla 1954, it's really important to go over him first, not only because he was the first one, but because the standards that he sets pretty much sets the standards for every single Godzilla after him. Starting off the franchise, he has such abilities as energy projection, regeneration. He is immortal in the sense that he is eternal. He's an eternal being. Not that he can't die. He won't die naturally. Energy manipulation, projection, all through his atomic breath. He also has radioactivity, which is due to his nuclear fallout. If you can't resist radiation, then you're not going anywhere near him. He also has heat, radiation, and electricity resistance. 1954 is able to casually tank artillery fire, and even enough electricity to light a whole city at the same time. And he just walked through it. And he can create explosions under the Pacific Ocean that are compared to volcanic eruptions. These explosions can it can boil entire meters and meters of salt water. Moving on to everybody's favorite Godzilla, it's Zilla from the TriStar movies. I know everybody hates on this creature. He's not exactly the strongest Godzilla, but he has a few feats here and there. He took anti-vehicle bullets, tank shells, and 2 torpedo hits with no damage. He walks through entire buildings without getting hurt or without the buildings crumbling somehow. And he's able to dodge Mach 2 missiles. His abilities, he's also able to be self-sustenant in the way that he doesn't really require oxygen. And he is pretty good at stealth mastery. He was even able to sneak up on the military, which is something not a lot of Godzillas can do. Now we're getting to the GMK Godzilla, or long-ass name Godzilla. In his film, they made specially made tank drills which couldn't pierce his skin. He was easily able to throw around monsters like the 2,000-ton Baragon. And he easily tanks this charged up blast from a Ghidorah that is powerful enough to push Godzilla through entire city blocks and into the ocean. His atomic breath alone creates mushroom clouds that could be felt for miles. And he was able to survive the oxygen destroyer and regenerated from it from a skeleton. He was able to throw a 25,000-ton Ghidorah a great distance, and even when blown away to just his heart, it still kept beating since he is possessed by souls of the dead, making him practically immortal. He is easily able to blast FF fighter jets easily, which can easily go up to over 200 miles per hour. And his beams can reach up to Mach 8. His abilities include regeneration, since he is able to regenerate from just his heart. He has immortality in the way of his regeneration, and just based on the fact that he is already dead. He is able to adapt, like he was able to absorb Ghidorah's beams after a while and adapt to him. He also has soul manipulation. He's able to absorb souls and add them to his lifespan. He's also skilled in hand-to-hand combat. He can breathe underwater. He is self-sustenant. He doesn't need food or water. He's able to resurrect himself, and he is resistant to possession, as at the end of the movie, The spirits of Baragon, Mothra, and Ghidorah all tried to possess him, but he was able to resist it. A lot of people like to say that this is the most powerful Godzilla, the GMK Godzilla, but he doesn't really rank up to the higher tiers in the Godzilla films. And one of the weaknesses people constantly bring up is him being weaker on the inside, which a lot of people try to stick on to other Godzillas, even though it's only really been true for this one. And Godzilla is able to regenerate from it either way. GMK Godzilla also scales to the original Godzilla, as it is stated to be the exact same Godzilla in 1954, so the 54 feats would apply to him as well. Now to the classic Godzilla, the Showa Godzilla. He's able to fly objectively with his atomic breath attack. As ridiculous as it is, he's able to utilize it pretty efficiently. He is immortal in the fact that he's resilient. He can take pretty much almost all damage thrown at him. That's not a no limits fallacy. It's just he takes a lot for him to put him down. He also has magnetism manipulation, as he's able to attract metal towards him. He's able to absorb electricity, which there is some people say that Showa's weakness is that he's weak to electricity, which isn't true. That was only true for the Godzilla vs. Kong, or King Kong vs. Godzilla movie, just to give Kong a chance, as there was different rewrites and different characters being put in. It was originally supposed to be Frankenstein and that whole mess. So, but in the original film, he was able to tank city level electricity amounts. And even in other movies, he's able to tank electricity just fine and even absorb it. He's also has poison resistance. He is able to survive an explosion on an island that had an output of 1.53 megatons. He's able to battle monsters like Anguirus, who survived a fall to the ground with the force of 11.16 megatons. He shot a blast at Ebra that evaporated the water around them and destroyed Devil Island, which is an output of 64 kilotons. His atomic breath, through calculations, has been shown to go at Mach 3 and even past it. And he was even able to match Gigan in combat, and Gigan has traveled from the Space Hunter Nebula M to Earth within minutes, which is massively faster than light. And for those of you questioning Gigan's speed, he was able to fly from Space Hunter Nebula M multiple times to Earth in minutes, if not maybe a few hours. But even some of the closest nebulas to Earth can reach 700 light years away. And to do that within minutes, yes, that would be far above light speed. A lot of people like to downplay the Showa Godzilla because it was the original, and they believe that every Godzilla after it would just get even more powerful. But Showa Godzilla is actually, it's above quite a few. I'd even say he's above the GMK Godzilla that everybody roots for all the time. Alright, now we're pretty much in the mid-tiers. Godzilla 2000, so the one that fought Orga. He was able to survive Orga's cannon that sent him flying. He survived special AP missiles that are far greater than modern ones, at least for 1999. Withstands a gravitational force that destroyed a building. Was able to damage and destroy Orga's saucer and blow away chunks of Orga's body with the same blasts. Godzilla's regenerative abilities are so good that Orga could regrow entire sections of its body, which Orga is able to absorb Godzilla's powers. Godzilla overpowers and throws back 40,000-ton Orga. His nuclear pulse was able to one-shot Orga, who, as I said, can regenerate. And he was able to damage Orga's UFO and it survived a crash landing to Earth during the Cambrian period. It could reach country levels of power, and his atomic blast can reach Mach 4 speeds. Alright, Millennium Godzilla, or Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, or Godzilla Tokyo S Godzilla. He was able to survive stabs from Kiryu's laser sword. He survives a maser cannon blast into his open wound in his chest. Godzilla survives Mechagodzilla's absolute zero cannon that freezes atoms at point blank range and destroyed multiple towers, but survives with no damage. Godzilla just tanks it. He was also able to one-shot Mothra. Godzilla sends 36,000 tons of Mechagodzilla flying, able to battle Mothra, who can fly at Mach 2 speeds, dodge Kiryu's missiles, which can move at Mach 4 speeds, and his own atomic blast can reach Mach 9. A lot of people tend to bully this Godzilla since Kiryu was able to hit him around and people believe he just got his ass kicked the whole time. It was very clear that Godzilla was the enemy, so they really wanted Mechagodzilla to be rooted for. So scaling Kiryu Godzilla to the absolute zero cannon, in the fact that the Godzilla was able to tank shots from the absolute zero cannon, being able to destroy multiple large building towers. These specific towers, and being able to disintegrate them just by touching them, would pretty much bring this Godzilla up to like large continental level, large country levels. The final Wars Godzilla. Now, a lot of people believe this one to be the absolute most powerful, at least in terms of the films. He was able to throw a 30,000 ton Kumonga and overpowered Monster X, who can support 65,000 tons. He was able to tank Gigan's claws and took a city-busting meteor with no damage. Is able to blitz 3 monsters at once. Was able to break Kaiser's grip with a nuclear pulse. Was able to shoot 100,000 ton Kaiser Ghidorah into space with his red spiral ray. Able to blast the heads off of Gigan and Kaiser Ghidorah. And Godzilla's heat beam travels out to high orbit in a second and accurately tags the runaway mini planet Gorath, which holds Monster X. Gorath is stated in Toho films to be 62,000 times the mass of Earth in a smaller, denser planetoid. So just because Gorath is smaller doesn't mean it doesn't have the same mass or density. Gorath's landing was stated life-wiping, but the heat beam destroyed enough of it down to only just busting a city. That would easily bring this Godzilla to multi-continental, to most likely planetary, large planetary levels. He was also able to blast Kaiser up to high orbit in 5 seconds, which would be possibly thousands of times Mach speed, even in relativistic speeds. And this may or may not be important, but I just wanted to point out that he also kept up with Mothra, who was able to perform an ability called the high-speed light blur, but there's no actual evidence that this is above light speed. As far as we could tell, Final Wars Godzilla can go up to relativistic speeds to possibly light if you want to, give him the Mothra ability thing. But he definitely reaches the high planetary to possibly dwarf star levels. And a lot of people tend to make this Godzilla the most powerful, and he is one of the most powerful in the films. But most people just give him this OP persona because he was able to defeat like 10 monsters in a few hours, which is good for his stamina scaling, but most of these monsters really scale to Godzilla because the monsters of Final Wars really don't have really many feats. So, but he's still one of the most powerful. Godzilla versus Megaguirus Godzilla. Now, this might be the moment where I lose people. this might be the moment where I reach my most controversial, and I may get dislikes for it, but whatever. I need to tell people the truth. All right. So, starting off with basic feats, this Godzilla was able to throw Megaguirus around like a rag doll, took blast from Megaguirus, and was able to survive. He was able to survive the oxygen destroyer, as he is the same Godzilla as 1954, and he was able to survive molecular level attacks. So he has matter resistance, or at least matter manipulation resistance. And he was able to boil a large portion of the ocean, which can reach mountain level attack potency due to just the large amount he boiled. And he's able to keep up in combat with hypersonic Megaguirus, and he was able to kill Megaguirus in only 2 blasts. And now to the controversial feat, the black hole. Now, a lot of people believe that this is just a normal mini black hole. People believe it's a stellar black hole, and since it doesn't do a lot of damage to the Earth, it's not even planetary. I'm gonna tell you exactly what the film explains that it is. So, it's stated it's able to suck in light waves just like regular ones, and the black hole, it's a mini black hole that's condensed, but the black hole was stated powerful enough, and it's shown and stated to distort time and space, which would rip open a hole in the fabric of reality. And Godzilla tanked this black hole multiple times. Maybe it knocked him out once, but he wasn't harmed really at all. This alone would bring this Godzilla up to multi-galactic levels, if not universal. Multi-galactic is being generous, and I'm just gonna lowball it for some of those people that think it's a stellar black hole, but it's stated in the film just how powerful it is, and Godzilla still tanked it. So this would make the Megaguirus Godzilla more powerful than Final Wars. I know that might be hard to take in, but that's just, I'm just the messenger here. Don't attack me. Actually, you know what? Come at me, scrubs. And it was stated by the scientists in the film that the black hole would either completely destroy Godzilla, or it would trap Godzilla inside of it for all of eternity. And Godzilla tanked it, and it did neither of those things. So that could even give Godzilla some level of battlefield removal, as you can't really move him without, really having a powerful force behind it. Those of you who are salty, like, I've seen a lot of people in the community say, oh, well, it's impossible for Godzilla to be universal. He has no universal feats. The people that think he's universal are just highballing him. They're Godzilla fanboys. They must not watch the films, because there are universal and even universal feats beyond that. And this isn't even the most powerful Godzilla. Now we're at Heisei Godzilla. Now, a lot of people believe Final Wars and Heisei are equal. Some people think Final Wars is more powerful than Heisei. I'm gonna tell you all outright that Heisei Godzilla he's beyond the other Godzillas on this list. And I'm gonna tell you all why. So, let's go off with some of his, lesser feats. He's easily able to tear off Rodan's wing. He throws Anguirus thousands of meters into the air, and easily lifts 200,000 ton Biollante. He countered hypersonic Rodan and easily catches G-Force's supersonic ships, tanks modern weapons and radioactive acid. He survives being frozen from the inside out. He heals from things like puncture wounds, anchor holes, stabs through the heart, melted eyes, near decapitation, and an exploded brain in seconds. Able to regenerate from missiles that negated his nuclear energy and bacteria that feeds off nuclear energy. His regeneration, he regenerated from a meltdown and destroyed Monster Island and everything on it. He is able to regenerate from oxygen destroyer blasts while melting. Blasts off Ghidorah's head and Mechaghidorah's right, middle, and 23rd century future armor. Damage Space Godzilla with his atomic breath. His red spiral ray one-shots Mechagodzilla, who can absorb the atomic breath, and he also one-shots Space Godzilla. His nuclear pulse blew off Biolante's vines, reverses the electrical charge of Mechagodzilla, blew back 90,000-ton King Ghidorah, killed Destroya, and melted Mechagodzilla's armor. He absorbed nuke and radiation energy that raised his size, power, regeneration, and granted new abilities, and is able to manipulate cosmic energy of Space Godzilla. Godzilla Jr. absorbed all of his father's energy instantaneously, which gave off enough energy to keep Tokyo a dead city for hundreds of years. Psychic abilities: he has psychic resistance to knock out Miki, who can track kaiju from hundreds of miles and know their feelings. Even when her powers are amplified with a machine, Godzilla overloads the machine and knocks her out again. Godzilla's meltdown is shown to end the world by destroying the atmosphere with heat and melting the earth. Able to tank his own blast fired back at him at 10,000 times the power. Sleeps in lava and withstood the pressure of Earth's crust. And Space Godzilla's black hole crystals cannot pierce Godzilla, but Godzilla stabs Space Godzilla through the chest with them. And Godzilla's cells are tough enough that they can tank a trip into a black hole and bombarded by exploding suns to form into Space Godzilla. Defeated Space Godzilla, who escaped a black hole, which would be faster than light. Battled Mothra, who flew outside the solar system in 2 years, which would be Mach 600. And Mothra stated capable of redirecting the asteroid that was said that could destroy Earth. The main feat I want to break down is Godzilla's cell black hole feat. Now, just Godzilla cells individually that latched onto Mothra were able to survive a trip through a black hole. Now, we know that in the Godzilla multiverse, black holes, even mini black holes, can reach levels of distorting space and time and endangering reality. The black hole that Godzilla's cells had to tank must have been over 100 meters in size, at least, especially since Space Godzilla had to go through it. It had to be big enough. And it was bombarded by exploding suns, which would also put him above Final War Godzilla either way. If just one of Godzilla's cells are able to tank a reality-destroying black hole, then, and humans are made up of trillions of cells, and blue whale are made up of quadrillions of cells. Just imagine how many cells Heisei Godzilla has. That would easily bring him millions of times in universe level and thousands of times high universal. This would bring Heisei Godzilla up to higher universal levels. If you guys agree with me, please leave a like, or please share what you guys think. I like talking about these type of discussions, and if you guys want more videos like this, please comment down below. If this video goes well with others, then maybe I'll make some on other Godzillas like Legendary, Shin. I can go on other topics, but anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.